We want what Silicon Valley has done for the United States economy. These are pretty much the words of President Cyril Ramaphosa at that summit, his inaugural address there. He says his government will invest in an environment that encourages entrepreneurship. That's to ensure that South Africa steps into the digital economy in order to enhance transformation and create jobs. Now, Govan Whittles has been tracking that summit for us in Midrand and joins us now live from there. Govan, all this talk of AI, the the 4IR, as those in the know call it, the president really seemed to be reveling in talking about this issue that seems to be quite close to his heart.
It does indeed, and he seems to know a lot about what it would take to get South Africa on an equal footing with other developing countries and developed countries. But of course, the fourth industrial revolution and the Internet of Things, cloud computing and quantum mechanics is about more than just government departments. It's about the companies that will be implementing these solutions and essentially hiring these new waves of program developers, coders, and also people that will be building the machines of the future. And the big question is, what does this mean for South Africa's current workforce? The president admits that there will be many jobs that will be shared, but he believes that there will be many, many more that will be created. Let's get some reaction to this now. Marcel, I'm joined by the president of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, the largest federation of workers in South Africa. First of all, what did you make of the concession by the president that there will be many jobs lost by this new initiative being taken up?
I think it is the reality that has dawned to us as workers in this country that with the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, jobs are going to be shed. We have received Section 189s on Standard Bank, for an example, or about 91 branches that are to be closed, taking us to about 1,200 jobs that are going to be lost. But I think we should move beyond jobs that will be lost and start to ask a question: what are the opportunities, what are the new sectors that are going to be created by the fourth industrial revolution, so that we are able to be part of the game as workers in this country and start to be part of a dialogue that says, as much as we want businesses to talk about the skilling and upskilling and reskilling of workers that are currently employed, but we must also say that what are the possibilities of new industries and new sectors of the economy that will be created as a result of digitalization that is going to come in, replacing the ordinary work that we are used to. For an example, if I were to talk to Standard Bank, says and argues that among other reasons that it retrenches, it is because it's looking for people that are engineers on the cloud. And we're asking ourselves a question: when they were doing their own projections, they should have projected, as they were forecasting the business, that in the near future we will be operating at this level, and this is the kind of technology we're going to venture into, and therefore these are the kind of workforce that we are going to require with relevant skills. What is it that Standard Bank has done to ensure that the current workforce is in touch and in reality with where the bank is planning to go?
It is a question of two different types of workers: the traditional worker known in South Africa and the new worker, which focuses on with soft skills and is also able to develop things online. But we do know that COSATU represents, by and large, the part of the workforce which is reaching the end of their time and will be retiring soon, whereas we're seeing these banks and other companies hiring much younger workers who are opting not to be unionized, or far less of them are actually opting to be part of unions. So what does this mean for COSATU's representation of the workforce in a country where we have more digital jobs that are coming online?
The relevance of the trade union will still be there whether you have digitalized or not, because there will still be a relationship of an employer and employee, and therefore the Labor Relations Act of this country will remain relevant. Perhaps it will be the platforms that we should be saying what kind of platforms of representation and kind of a union that we are going to be operating in, the space that will be operating. Because that relationship still exists, because there will be an employer and employee, and I think what we ourselves as a trade union The question that we would be responding and we should be responding to is the kind of a worker that is entering the labor market now. For an example, what will change for us is how we go for representation for our members. Calling of general meetings is not going to be the traditional way, but the responsibility of a trade union still exists, but we may need to move with times on how we do that representation. You may not need now to sit down with the worker and really do an interaction in terms of preparing for a case. You may still do it via Skype and all of those areas, but we still argue that we will still remain relevant even in the digitalized economy.
And we have already seen some implementation of these technologies in South Africa. To put it more simply, McDonald's has started opening stores where you can order your food from a screen and then pick it up at the counter with very little interaction with actual human beings. So what has COSATU's interaction been like with companies that have already started implementing this technology?
What we are arguing for is that as a country first, including business, because McDonald's did not just say we're going to move to this. Surely, as I've argued in terms of Standard Bank, they should have known this coming. So we are not going to run away from that. We need to embrace it, but we also need to say, are we ready as a country for such a technology with the high levels of unemployment? With an unemployment sitting around 26-27% in this country, are we ready to really embrace technology such that it will wipe away the jobs that we currently have with no alternatives? And we think that we should be able to say, in our own South African context, we may not be ready to venture into such. And if we do venture into such, what is it that we have done in preparation for that? And then we need to take it further and say, when McDonald's says we're introducing this kind of technology, which is also convenient for consumers, what kind of new sectors are we creating? Who is going? Where are these machines coming from? That now, as consumers, when we go to McDonald's, are going to place our order into, who manufactures them? Okay, the technology that is there, who produces it? Now we need to venture into the IT system and say we may need now in our own schools, in our own cities, in different sectors, and say we are moving to a digital sector, and we need to start now bringing the skills that are required such that we are the producers of the same technology that you are going to be using in the near future.
Thank you so much, Zingiswa Losi. She's the president of COSATU. Well, it looks like South Africa's labor movement, COSATU at least, excited about the prospect of the introduction of these technologies, but also cautiously optimistic when it comes to the implementation and what that would mean for the average South African worker who currently doesn't use any machines to do his or her job.